miss you guys so much, and we were really hoping that we would be able to do camp at church. And I know we're all probably going to be sad about it. We're all going to miss Water Day. But we're also really excited for you to get a chance to do camp at home with your family this year. And we think that it could be really good. And we're just trusting God's word when he says that all things work together for our good. So we're just going to jump in, and I'm going to explain I'm going to introduce our memory verse for this week. And you'll go over it more in your lesson later, but I just wanted to tell you what it is. So it says, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." And that's from 1 Corinthians 13:13. So we will have 3 days of camp, and each day you will talk about one of these words. So today we're going to learn about faith. On day 2, we're going to talk about hope. And on day 3, we're going to talk about love, which is the greatest. So when we talk about faith, I think it's important to say, what is faith? And I think we probably all know, but God gives us a definition of faith in his word. So we're going to read that together, and that's going to let us know for sure what the Bible means when it talks about faith. Hebrews 11, verse 1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." So that means that faith is just being sure of something even when we can't see it with our eyes. Obviously, faith is pretty important because we know that if we have nothing else in our relationship with Jesus, we need to have faith, hope, and love. So why is faith so important? The Bible also tells us that in Hebrews chapter 11, it says, "And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." So when we read these verses, we know that we need to have faith because that's how we please God, and also that's how we know him. That's how we can have a relationship with him. We can't know him if we don't believe that he's real, right? We can't experience all the good things that he wants to give us and teach us in our lives if we don't believe that he's real. Now, I don't know about you, but there have been a lot of times in my life when I have had a hard time having faith, when I have struggled with believing that God is real, when I've struggled believing that the Bible is true, and the Bible has a word for us about that too, about what we can do when it's really hard to believe. So we're going to read in Hebrews chapter 12 in verses 1 and 2. It says, "Let us run the race marked out for us." That means let us live our lives the way that God made us to live, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Now, we know that faith means believing in something even if we can't see it with our eyes. So why does it say fixing our eyes on Jesus? Well, it doesn't mean seeing him with our eyes. It means focusing our minds on Jesus and focusing our hearts on Jesus. And it also says that Jesus is the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. That means that Jesus gave us our faith first. The reason that we can believe in him is because he gave us our faith. So he is the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. Now, my faith is not perfect, and I'm sure your faith is not perfect. But Jesus can make our faith perfect. We're going to read a story today about a man who really wanted to believe in Jesus, and he had a little bit of faith, but he was honest with Jesus, and he said, "Help me with my unbelief," and Jesus did. So that just helps us know that Jesus can help us with our faith, even if it's really hard for us to believe. So I hope that's encouraging to you. And also we can remember that someday we won't need our faith anymore, because someday we really will see Jesus with our eyes. And that's something that we can all be excited about. But until then, just always know that Jesus helps us believe because he wants us to believe and he wants us to know him. I hope that that makes sense. If you have questions, you can talk about this with your families, and I'm excited for you to read today's story because it's really good. So I'll see you on day 2.